Alrighty. Well, we just did the coin toss. I had it muted for that. Welcome to the stream. I am Tin, and I'll be casting a Division East game versus '07 Chromium and ReGen Rebel. Looks like ReGen won the coin toss and went for first hero pick. So '07 Chromium banned out Alterac Pass, followed by a Sky Temple ban from ReGen Rebel. Tomb of the Spider Queen followed, and then Curse's Hollow, all banned out. And first map will be Infernal Shrines. The lobby has been made. These teams are on top of it. We're 6 minutes early, so could be a quick one. Could be a long one. Maybe they're just good on the logistical side. But as we wait for the lobby to fill, I will just be filling in with random chatter and such. Just gonna link the stream just in the div, just in case anyone wants to join. And yeah, we should get off the ground shortly, I assume. Teams do have a few minutes to gather their party and maybe talk about strategies. So with '07 Chromium picking the map, they likely have a strategy in mind, and now it's up to ReGen Rebel to, talk out their strategy for this map. Most teams ought to have some idea of what they want to do on every map, because you can only ban out 2. Infernal Shrines, big part of it is the camps that don't disappear, and the other part is the objective that summons a Punisher. So follow-up CC to the Punisher jump is big. Getting the Punisher in the first place with Shrine control is big, so area control and damage. Last hitting things, Kerrigan's often taken for that with her Ravage resets. But also camp clear, camp speed, and macro pressure. So expect to see those kinds of hero picks. And I'm out of things to say, so if I had some music, I'd play it. But, well, I have lots of music, but I'm not going to put it into an NGS stream at the risk of ruining the stream for the teams. This is all about them. I don't want to inconvenience them. So I will just inconvenience them with my poor droning voice. I guess what I could do is go to the NGS website and go to the division and look at the stats. ReGen Rebel, after 3 matches played, has 8 points with 2 dominations, so they're doing fairly well in their division. And '07 Chromium, with 4 matches played, has not quite as many points. So they are a new team, and they are figuring things out. Competitive play, coordinated play is a lot different from Storm League. It's a lot different from Quick Match, and so it takes some getting used to. And we'll have to see how much scouting these teams have done, and if they choose to target individual players or just map picks. But hoping that both of these teams have good luck and are able to put together a comp that they enjoy and have some fun. We're still just waiting for the teams to announce that they are ready. I do like the logos for these teams. The ReGen one, the R is all kinds of weird. Looks like old, like MS-DOS colors. And the Chromium logo, nice visual design with the hourglass. I will comment a bit on the map bans. I don't understand who would ban Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's a small map. Just fight the other team constantly. Don't actually play the map. It's great. So much fun. I can understand banning Cursed Hollow. It's huge. It's boring. You have to spend all the time running through lanes instead of actually playing the game. Who wants that? Sky Temple and Alterac, they're kind of medium. I can take them or leave them. Taco, your logo looks kind of like old comic books and MS-DOS. And now I'm stuck in this awkward position of ReGen Rebel taking all of the time that they have to delay this game. What are you guys doing? I can say mean things about them because I know them very well. And I'm hoping that they lose. Not to have any bias or anything. But secretly, I am cheering for Chromium. Mainly because Chromium is all ready to go. That's important to me. Punctuality. Just like Aladdin when he's being coached by the genie, talking to Jasmine, admires her punctuality. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh, we can fix something else. This is... the stream title is all wrong. I thought I did everything else. Fortunately, we had so much time, the game hasn't started, so that should be fixed. And I can tell my audio is coming through because Taco's talking back. So that's always a plus. I'm going to drink all my water before this game even starts. We should be starting fairly shortly. One team is ready. Just waiting for the other team to confirm. Both teams are ready. We will be starting momentarily. Here we go. Alright, here we go. ReGen Rebel has first pick. They'll be banning first. Assuming the lobby actually functions. There we go. A little bit of a delayed start. Can't blame anyone for that. Well, I mean, you can, but nobody here. You have to find out who programmed it in Blizzard. Also, who's running their network and, you know, all those kind of things. But ReGen taking their time to sort themselves out and decide who do they not want to see on Infernal Shrines. It's Brightwing. They have taken my advice and gotten rid of the phase-shifting Fairy Dragon, and May follows up. Brightwing is the worst hero in the game and should be removed. May, pretty good point control tank, denying space, can keep the team away from the objective while you kill all the skeletons. Stukov, a very strong healer these days, taking them right off the table. And Chromium, being second pick, has the obligation to ban Johanna. We'll see if they choose to do it. Or more likely, we'll see. I was going to say how long it takes to ban, but no. Johanna has been let through. Do we see a snap Johanna pick? Or do they contain their excitement and pick Johanna slowly? ReGen Rebel pondering their options. Their whole draft just changed. Do we see a misclick? No, we see the Johanna taken by Taco. Too tempting to pass up. And Chromium, they wanted the Rhaegar. That's possibly why they let Johanna through. Rhaegar, fairly strong. Not quite as strong as he used to be. But a priority for Supermat 365. That's one full year of Supermat, so that's a lot of Supermat. And Leoric for the offlane. One of my favorites, because I like to throw laser beams on top of his entomb, but nobody else plays Phoenix, so you're probably not going to see it. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, somebody pick Phoenix. Either side, I don't care. As we go to picks 2 and 3 for ReGen Rebel. The Rebel Rousers. Junkrat and Anduin. I was going to say Junkrat and Valoravia, but that's not the character name. So Postman on Junkrat, with also good point control, dropping mines in the bushes, traps to knock enemies around, displace them, be annoying. And Anduin, all-purpose save with his, I always forget the name, but Life Grip. Yeah, I've forgotten the name. Doesn't matter. Diablo is banned out. Pretty solid tank for crashing into some of those walls. However, ReGen Rebel already had a tank, so I'm not sure if Chromium has seen them play. Has ReGen Rebel done a double tank comp before with like an offlane Johanna? It's possible. I've seen stranger things. Murden banned out. Don't want to see those storm bolts and that big tanky boy jumping in and out. Rhaegar sometimes a dive healer. Murden definitely a dive tank. Maybe they want to limit the access to their backline. As picks 3 and 4 come in for Chromium. I forgot to ask what the 07 stood for. Gul'dan and Garrosh. 2 orcs, 2 chiefs of the orcs. Garrosh really good on the shrines. Apparently you cannot throw the skeletons, so it's easier to hit heroes. And Gul'dan, just, you know, good poke damage, can kill those minions pretty quick. I don't hate it. The last picks for ReGen Rebel, Jaina and Gazlo. Gazlo, decent offlane. Against the Leoric, if you just drop your totems and don't let him drain you, you can slowly whittle him down. Jaina's got the wave clear, the big shrine clear. Not quite as consistent damage as the Gul'dan. You're going to kill one big wave of them and then wait for your cooldowns. But still pretty solid damage, and especially if you can lock him down. Speaking of lockdown, it's hard to lock down a Genji, so a bit of agility on the side of Chromium. Now we can see if the teams switch anything around. I didn't see any switches, but just going to take us to the map view while the game loads in. So, interesting drafts. Any game with a Genji is an interesting draft because he's just sort of, one of those all over the place kind of heroes. But other than that, I guess both teams kind of make sense to me. And it'll just come down to who has the better coordination and sometimes better luck. So, good luck. In the blue corner, we have 07 Chromium with Keegs Monswag on Garrosh, unfeatured on not Diablo. Gul'dan. They Call Me M on Genji, Valkyrie on Leoric, and Supermat 365 on Rhaegar. In the red corner, we have Syl on Jaina, Valoravia on Anduin, Prostman Pat on Junkrat, Taco on Johanna, and Beastrend on Gaslow. We have Warbreaker, for Gul'dan. Not Gul'dan, Garrosh. Corruption for Gul'dan. Blinds for Taco. Rocket Boots, Power Shield. As the teams meet in the mid, both staying safely back, don't want to get too close to the Garrosh. Taco baits out the throw. Still has the Iron Skin if he gets in danger. But no abilities are really being used on him. And he just looks like he's just going to disrupt the rotations, although Leoric is already up in his lane. The rotation is going down south. But while Taco was doing that, Prostman and Syl cleared out the lane, got all the experience. Taco just wants to fight, stacking his Jaina, but also stacking the Gul'dan. Bunch of damage goes out onto the Garrosh. Too many G orcs, and he just walks away with his armor. Meanwhile, Leoric pushing in pretty well, but still taking some damage. Beastrend very healthy, just playing it very safe. No reason to try and get kills. Just let it freeze the lane and get it closer to your towers for an easier time. And with the rotation up to mid from Chromium, ReGen Rebel did sneak the bottom camp. One Khazra kind of not friendly with the other two Khazra, won't be allowed to play. As Syl looks to start her camp, she's a little afraid because her team's not there and Garrosh is sharking around in the bushes, but as her reinforcements arrive, she goes and drops her Blizzard, clears that out real fast. Taco does get thrown over a wall, but the team is too busy camping to pay him much mind. And bottom camp, a little bit of tower damage, but should be cleaned up very easily, while ReGen Rebel gets to push in mid. It is 2:13 on the timer, so in 15 seconds we will have the announcements for the Immortals, as both teams seem to be rotating up to their camps. Supermat definitely is. There goes Syl and Valoravia. Jaina and Anduin. Rhaegar taking some damage. His team not helping him, and he's a low mana. I hope he survives this. It would be very much a shame if, Genji didn't come in and help. Don't let them heal up too much. There you go, Genji. So that took a little bit longer because of the lack of reinforcements. But there's still 6 seconds before the shrine starts. ReGen Rebel does have a bit higher experience, but all of these team members from Chromium are very low. They didn't take the time to heal up, and so ReGen Rebel does have a major advantage on this shrine. They do have taps, so they come in pre-tapped. And their camp is blocking the minions, so that's going to be a good free clear. And they only lost 9 shrines, so 9 shrine minions. So they're not down 7s yet, so they still have lots of time to make this happen as they start to get their own minions. Junkrat poking from the side, Taco looking to just fight, and Garrosh trying to zone the team back. Gets booped, but gets the throw onto Valoravia, but the Groundbreaker doesn't connect, and she is able to walk out. Taco does go in, but backs off. The other team engaging too hard. Just trying to race for the minions. Jaina trying to steal them away from Leoric up there. Taco trying to push the team back. Chromium is fairly low, but the lower Garrosh gets, the higher his armor gets, so he's deceptive that way. As it's 25 to 20, it's very close still. It's just a matter of who gets those few last hits. Taco gets thrown in. The pull from Anduin is good. And ReGen only needs 8 more minions. Garrosh gets a quick heal, knockback from Junkrat, and Gul'dan is the first to go down, as ReGen Rebel does push them off the shrine and takes it 40 to 32. It was a close fight, but I think the 7s just proved a little too much. They did get it during that. And if Chromium had been full health during that, they would have had a much better time. Leoric does Wraithwalk the stun from the Immortals, getting over the wall. Very well done. Getting the fort pushing damage into it. Makes it do it a lot faster. The throw onto Gazlo with follow-up stun is good. But Valoravia, the one taking the fort shots, Gazlo's able to walk out. And the fort takes a lot of damage, but it does not go down. However, Jaina had been soaking during that siege, and there was a 5-man defense from Chromium, so rotational advantage on this camp, although she's taking her sweet time, waiting for that blizzard to come up. And there it goes. Her team is back up. Maybe we're also waiting, doesn't want to push too much damage if she's going to get invaded. As Chromium in position to defend it, in position to defend and invade onto their camp. But ReGen Rebel not giving them any space, wants to cut them off from the rotations, and Gazlo looks like he wants to start camp, but it does come down to Peel for his tank. It was Joe. Joe has that iron skin, was not really in too much danger. And Gazlo goes back to the camp. If the team can contain Chromium, Gazlo could get this. Leoric is soaking top, possibly double soaking, and ReGen is committing 5 to this invade, and Genji does sniff it out. So that's a lot committed, and it was negated by that Genji just checking what was going on. So ReGen backs off. They're close to 10. And now they are 10. And now is the time that they could push an advantage and maybe invade. And here they come. And Chromium, recognizing what's going on, does just back off. Taco does go in fairly deep. Ironskin goes down and he gets thrown. But the heroics come out. There's the Falling Sword. There's the Ice Elemental. The stun does not work on it. Unfortunately, that would have saved his life. But he almost... Garrosh almost escapes with 8 health, 7 health. I think he got down to. But the Water Elemental just too unstoppable. Camp does get cleared up, and 10s are looming for Chromium. And here they are. We did see the Falling Sword and the Water Elemental and the Riptire. They also have Gravibomb. That was... everything was used, apparently. I didn't see it all. And Light Bomb. So lots of bombs as a camp invade comes on the top. Leoric there to see it, but too low to do anything, and the team too far away. So that's a successful invade, and the top fort looks like it will go down in the process. Big taunt onto the Gazlo does get negated by the falling sword, and big stuns connect on the Gul'dan. He goes down. Fear was used, but unfortunately not to save his life. The orc went down as well, being very low, but he will be back very shortly as he's draining the enemy team. So we saw the taunt, Ancestral not used, Entomb not used, Horrify, and X Strike from the Genji. So no Dragon Blade shenanigans. And ReGen Rebel is on the Shrine. 2-level advantage, 1.5. And Chromium looks like they're just going to give it. They're late. Maybe not. They're coming in for the fight. But the turrets are there. The traps are there. They do find an angle, but the Gravibomb is good. The Falling Sword follow-up does connect. Ancestral Healing onto the Gul'dan heals him a little bit, but the Junkrat bombs are keeping the team in the fight. And 3 members go down for Chromium. Big wombo coming out of ReGen Rebel. Not safe to group up in one small spot. However, they did have all the traps and turrets and things funneling them into one area. So that's the power of the Junkrat and Gazlo on this map. And Punisher looks like it's going to be baited by Leoric again. Gets the Wraith Walk just in time. And he's taking a lot of damage, but it's all just from the Punisher. He'll be able to walk away from that. This fort will go down for sure. It's just a matter of how much more. The leap onto Genji. Everything being used doesn't connect. Only the Falling Sword and the Horrify with the throw does kill off the Taco. But Garrosh goes down 1 for 1. He was very low. This Punisher wants blood. Genji just manages to get away. And the Punisher will go down. But 1 for 1 trades do benefit Chromium at this point. They are behind, so the experience gain from kills is much bigger. So that was a fairly successful defense. They did lose the wall, but there was camps and everything pushing. They were down a talent here, so they kept the keep and got a trade. So they're approaching 13s and can maybe look to take a same talent tier fight if they hurry. Garrosh hoping to catch someone in the bush, but does get scouted out by the Junkrat. ReGen Rebel apparently having learned not to face check. It is the first lesson that anyone who wants to play competitive ought to learn. If you walk into a bush, there's always a chance that someone is there waiting for you. And this time there was a Garrosh, so. Garrosh does unstoppable his way back, but gets rooted. Taco gets thrown, has the Iron Skin. There's the Light Bomb. Garrosh locked down. Horrify does buy some time, but ooh, never mind. The Water Mantle got killed off just in time, but Taco on his Joanna was still there and got the last hit. I thought Gul'dan was going to escape. However, silver lining, that was a lot of heroics used on the side of ReGen Rebel, and there's no objective to get. So all of the deaths from Chromium will be able to respawn. And it's almost as if they never happened. They're down 3 levels, so the experience gain from ReGen Rebel for those 2 kills is negligible. But they are pushing down mid for it. There's the water elemental again. That needs a longer cooldown because that is super annoying. And the poke might be enough if they keep going. Maybe not. ReGen backs off without getting the fort. Meanwhile, Leoric is clearing camp and soaking up top. I have no idea whose experience this is, but I imagine if it was Leoric's, he would go and get it. So, experience being left on the ground in all the lanes for both teams, as they are committing to team fights quite a bit. Chromium does take their summoner camp. It is going to the same lane as the shrine, which is a bit unfortunate for them, as this Khazar camp in the bottom will be pushing while the teams fight over objective. So good macro plays coming out of ReGen Rebel. The only camp really available to Chromium they did take, so they took what they could, but it was just bad luck on their part. They are in position on the shrine, however. They are not starting it. I'm hoping to bait someone from ReGen Rebel to step up, but the water elemental goes in first. Does scout out pretty much everything, and it goes down. So that was a heroic used, but it did provide the necessary vision. There's a big falling sword into the back. There's the condemn. All the ults. Massive wombo. Too many to call, as Garrosh almost makes it out. I'm not sure if he might have had his bloodthirst, but does not. And Genji, the sole survivor for his team, has the sad duty of just cleaning up this camp. Lyric about to respawn, will clear top. But there's no way that Chromium stops this objective from going over to the side of ReGen Rebel. Genji taking some damage, getting some deflect, just trying to keep it off the core, but it won't do any actual core damage. The shield should be enough, and now Gul'dan is here. Both teams at 16s now, so that's a huge power spike, as Chromium can go in for the defense. ReGen a little bit split, so this first bait shouldn't be punished too hard. The wall did go down, but no follow-up on the jump, so some good chance for some damage onto the Immortal. Falling Sword comes out, Entomb comes out. There's the Gravibomb, there's the big combo, there's the Light Bomb, and too many heroes caught in the same spot. Just get annihilated. Riptire not even used beforehand. Now just trying to find someone. Really just working to keep Pat out of the game for a little while as he's remote controlling his toy car. Immortal down to about a third. Leap does go into Rhaegar, who runs away. Core shields go down. Genji getting some big deflect shields, but doesn't have the escape. And the core, there's a conceivable defense, but they have to kill this Immortal quickly and kill the enemy team, or at least push them back, and that doesn't seem to be happening. So looks like game one will go over to ReGen Rebel. GG's, everybody. So I'll just keep you here on the stat screen until we're ready for another lobby. Rhaegar did have the superior healing, although a large part of that was the big damage coming out from ReGen Rebel. Just they didn't engage the Garrosh; they kept their distance from him, so Chromium couldn't make the plays that they wanted to until they had their abilities, and then they went in really hard and executed some massive wombos. So yeah, Chromium just couldn't find the angles to get in there and do what they wanted to do. We'll have to see how they choose to change things up in the next game. Maybe some longer range poke like a Chromie or Li Ming or even a Junkrat can get them started, or a beefier front line to just be able to charge in. Garrosh, he's a good tank, but he doesn't exactly have movement speed to just like slide in like an ETC or jump in like a Muradin. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see who else they have in their pockets to change things up. They do have the choice now of map pick or first pick, and we'll see if that maybe gives them the edge that they need. I mean, in my opinion, the first pick advantage is huge. You get more ban options. And in a meta where someone like Joe is so commonly picked and banned, it's basically like having, like, you don't get the ban if you're forced to ban the Joe. Unless you have some crazy plan. I have seen teams with Joe killing comps where they take anti-shield talents and just plan to kill the Joe before she can do anything important. It can work. Joe is strong. She's not insane. She's not like the only way you can win. So it all comes down to what your plan is. Just waiting for these teams to figure out where we're going to next. I didn't look too hard at the talents. It looks like ReGen Rebel did get to 20 just for a moment. Not everyone had time to pick their talents. But Rhaegar didn't go full totem build, as is, or at least was, very common. What do I know about Leoric? Did he go Ominous Wraith? He did. Oh, we have a new map. So I'm going to join the lobby and update. We're going to Braxis Holdout. And it looks like, from the way things are set up, that Chromium opted to take the map pick. So maybe they feel confident on the 2-lane map. Maybe they feel confident about their offlaner. Leoric was very vigilant. No, that's not the word I want. Diligent. They had a lot of similar letters in going for that soak. So possibly he is a strong offlaner, and that really gets to shine on this map. But you also need a good strong 4-man because you have to control both sides. And one way to do that is to have a good ganker, someone who can go to the off lane, get the kill, and come back. And then your other team either loses out on experience and loses the shrine, or they have to rotate somebody up, and then their 4-man suffers. So a lot of different options you can do on this map. You can also take your camps early. A lot of teams don't, because it sort of gives the other team free control of one of the points, and then they can rotate someone up, and then the offlaner has a hard time. But if you have a single person who's good at camps, like a Sonya or a Hogger or a Rexar, who can, or Artanis, who can take them by themselves and not sort of be noticed that they're missing, then when the camp comes in, you can get a big advantage. So, in my opinion, strong offlane, good gank, and good single man camp clear really gives you an advantage on this map. You can also go globals, have your offlaner rotate down sneakily to join the team for a 5-man 5v4. But if you don't get that kill quick, then you're losing the offlane. So it's not my preferred style, but it's a style and it can work. Also, you don't really need a global to do that. If you have like a Genji, you can just jump over the middle walls because the lanes aren't that far apart. All right, both teams are ready. It looks like we are starting. There are 2 Braxis maps. One of them is an ARAM map. And I had an idea for an April Fool's joke. Get a caster on April 1st. Oh, looks like there was something wrong. We can't see the chat in the lobby, so. Oh, I was incorrect. It looks like Team 1 gets first pick. So this was picked by ReGen Rebel, not by Chromium. So someone had to ditch the game. We're just waiting for them to come back in. Anyway, back to my story. My April Fool's joke. Both teams agree to, like, what's the other Braxis map called? Braxis Outpost. You do the draft in Braxis Outpost, and then it goes to the ARAM match, and then you just play it out with a caster just being like, what the hell's going on? And unable to communicate with the teams, and just play it out as like a bonus round. But now that I've told you all, I can't do it. So, Chromium will have first pick this time, and we'll see how that affects the game. Taco has rejoined the game after Alt F4ing or whatever he just did. And we ought to be off in just a moment. I'm just wondering. It looks like there are 10 weeks of games to schedule. We've done 3 so far. There's 4 weeks in April. Yeah, it looks like there will be time to have a game on April 1st. May is banned out first from Chromium. May 1st again. They just don't want to deal with it. I don't blame them. May is hyper annoying. If you land the ice walls and there's follow-up, it's super deadly. And ReGen Rebel, with the opportunity to ban something out, takes out the Joe. They used it very well in the last game and don't want to give Chromium any advantage, just taking it right out of the pool. I'm still hoping someone picks Phoenix. He's super easy. You just pick Q. You're done. And then if you take damage, you back up. And he heals up. And then you win games. Chromie banned out. Chromie is a pretty solid character. Can hit you from a distance. As long as she's hitting her shot, she does a ton of damage and it can play fairly safe. And can put time traps on points. Stukov, again, gotten rid of. Super strong healer. Brightwing still available. But Chromium is sticking to the Rhaegar. You better not pick Brightwing. ReGen, I'm watching you. Prostman Pat on his Drunkrat again. Managed to get some good traps and ults. Well, some of his ults just kind of danced around. Diablo taken without the Joe. Knowing that Chromium is like to ban Diablo, taking it early. Using that last draft knowledge to their advantage. Chromium with the chance to pick 2 more heroes. Picks Cho'Gall. Nope. Anubarak and Vala. Nubarak's pretty strong, can dive onto a point and keep himself up with his shields, and anyone else standing there will be stunned. Vala, solid damage, lots of viable builds, just depending on how safe you want to be. Vala also potentially good camp clear, although not usually by herself early game. Gul'dan banned away. Did land some good fears, even though the follow-up wasn't there last game, so a bit of a respect option there. And forcing Valkyrie to try something different. Chromium, in response, taking away one of ReGen Rebels' heroes, is going to ban away the hero known as Anduin. Did have some devastating light bombs with the combo. You don't want the APOC into light bomb ever, or the other way around, so that's gone. However, it does leave up the Brightwing. I'm very disappointed in you, ReGen Rebel. Fairy Dragon, special place in hell for characters like that. And Sylvanas. So Brightwing very good at helping the offlaner stay alive, avoid ganks and all that. And it's just annoying. Genji comes back, and Rexxar. Rexxar's good on this map. Can do the camp clear, can hold the point. And who does Meow Meow Cats choose to counter the Rexxar, unless it's going to be the Junkrat or the Sylvanas? But I would expect to see a more dedicated offlaner. Someone with some good sustain, good brawling, like Martanis or something. Malthael, that's not bad. Can heal off the wave, can heal off the heroes. Quite often likes to have only one hero because there's that Alone in the Dark talent or whatever it is, but Rexxar counts as two, so that doesn't work. Although I think it's only if you hit one person, and Rexxar tends to be further back, so maybe it does. I don't play Malthael very much, if you couldn't tell. But I'm going to take you back to the loading screen, the map screen while we load in. Perhaps I did that a little early. We missed the countdown, but I'm sure you can all count down from 5. All right, starting on the other side, in the red corner, we have Taco on Diablo, Syl on Sylvanas. I wonder where that name came from. Prostman Pat on Junkrat. Meow Meow Cats on Malthael, and Velaravia on Brightwing. In the blue corner, we have Valkyrie on Rexxar, Supermat 365 on Rhaegar. Rexxar and Rhaegar, that's going to confuse me later. Unfeatured on Vala, Keeg Monswag on Anubarak, and They Call Me M, sticking to the Genji. As far as talents go, we have Armor for Anub, Totems for Rhaegar, Might of the Banshee Queen for Sylvanas, Pale Horse for Malthael, usually used for double soaking, but it did get him to his lane far, far faster than no one who went up there for the other team. Hypershift, as expected. Vala is going W for Fire at Will, getting those big AoE stacks on the team, and swooping for Rexxar. As Chromium does have 5 men in the bottom for this first engage, leaving Malthael for some very free clear at the top and nothing else to do. But Anub gets completely annihilated. Junkrat knocked him back, looked like it was into one of his own roots, followed up with the Brightwing Polymorph, and no way out. Meanwhile, Malthael, taking a very aggressive rotate down, does get caught but saved by the Brightwing. Pumps out a lot of damage, but takes a bunch on his own, and Misha goes down. The bear, not a big deal. Anubarak burrows in, but a little bit late with their respawn. Just enough to hold the team there for Vala to get a couple more stacks. As the Misha does go up to his lane, This time Malthael on the other side. Maybe that's why taking the Pale Horse to rotate down with the team, just confuse the enemies, disrupt their rotations. But the points are activating right now. Rexar already on... Yes, Rexar. On the point, and Diablo on his. So, oh, Meowmacat's taking a lot of damage. Stun's probably been used to get him that low, so no kill, but a lot of good work. Meanwhile, the gank coming in from the Taco is scouted out, but that gives Chromium time to get the point on the down bottom. Valkyrie doing what he can against 2, but it is 2 full heroes, and he's 2 half heroes, so he's not going to be able to hold that forever. But his team bottom will get a huge advantage from this. At least they would have if Genji had stayed, but Genji went up top. That Meowmacat's super low. No, they don't get the kill before the Hyper Shift comes in. And now it's a 3 versus 2. Genji is able to agility out, and it's a 3 versus 2 bottom. And so a noob tunnels maybe a little further than he wanted to. And the channel going over to ReGen Rebel as Rhaegar tries to heal up his team. So a lot of wonky rotations for these teams. Really disrupting the flow. Taco gets the charge, but it's into the gate, doesn't connect to stun, and takes a lot of tower damage for his troubles. Brightwing, I was about to say, able to phase shift soon. Now, apparently. Comes in, heals up Taco. Anubrak forced to burrow out. Long burrow, gets him over the wall. He'll get out just fine. Meanwhile, Valkyrie has to hold the top point. He does get it, but Meowmacats gets onto the Rexar. And if he dies, Misha dies too. So he's got to get out of there. Does he survive? He has a sliver of health, 25? Yes. He makes it with 25 health. Genji goes and parries that poison from Malthael. But the beacons will go over, for the moment, to ReGen Rebel. Anubrak wants to cancel the beacon, does go in completely alone. A little too ambitious with 4 heroes right there. Doesn't get the cancel on the channel. Back in the day, if you just stood on it at all, it would go to neutral, but not so much anymore. As ReGen Rebel does tag their camp, they can take this during the Zerg wave, which will mean that they're not pushing with it. Meowmacat's getting very low, but with the Zerg behind her, the Zerg will target heroes and kill anyone, so not in too much danger. However, a lot of members Chromium did come up for the defense, so if we do see a dive, they're not invincible. Meowmacat's playing it very far forward, but a noob does not go in for the stuns. Taco coming in, maybe looking for a charge. Sees one on a noob, does get it. There's the polymorph, there's the flip, but the burrow charge is there. Not enough follow-up damage, and he gets out just fine. Vala doing some big damage on the waves with her multi-shot. And just the Guardians to contend with. And they only have 1,000 health each, so 5 or 6 auto attacks is enough to take them down. They're not too strong, depending on who's hitting them. Meanwhile, Misha goes down to the big Sylvanas damage, but Rexar is up, so it'll only be 10 seconds until the bear is back. 7's online for both teams, and this camp's getting cleaned up. Didn't even take out the tower, so not too much damage bottom, just the wall and part of the fort top. Fort survives. And now Chromium has a camp that they can push with, whereas ReGen Rebel does not. So a little bit of... we do see the Misha go down and the charge onto the Rexar. Lots of damage going out, but he survives. I was going to say a little bit of macro advantage for Chromium because they have the camp, whereas ReGen doesn't. But with no one else defending, Sylvanas Black Arrows are just tearing apart this wall. So definitely getting the better end of the deal is ReGen Rebel. As the flank comes in onto the Malthael, double stun. He does get the Wraith Strike and the phase shift. And boss was taken by Chromium while the push was happening bottom. So I take it back. Chromium does have the macro advantage here, as long as they don't let this boss get free cleared. But it looks like 5 men defending. Chromium will back off. They traded their wall for that, but they did get a fair amount of experience with 5 members rotating up for ReGen Rebel and Rexar staying bottom. Did get a gate for his trouble. But as Chromium is on their camp, Black Arrows come in and top structure just gets taken down. So Sylvanas value definitely coming through. The rotations, whenever Chromium rotates away, ReGen's there to take advantage. And 10's now online. We do have a noob not carrying and going right in. It's a 4 versus 3. Lots of damage. Genji comes in. Damage Valeravia on the Brightwing goes down. And now we have Taco in a bit of an aggressive position. Does get stunned by the noob once. There's the APOC. Agility not enough to get him out. There's the burrow charge to peel. But now Anub has no escape. Tens came in, so he does get the cocoon. But he died to get his Junkrat to, not Junkrat, his Genji to safety. It worked. Genji survived. But now Chromium is down a tank. So, very noble sacrifice coming out of Anub right there. Those traps being super annoying, keeping Rhaegar from capping the point. And there's the shadow charge. No? Okay, no shadow charge. I thought for sure Taco was going to get that. There's a shadow charge. Now that the team's not in range. Vala booped to safety. Taco super far forward, taking a ton of damage. But the black arrows are on the fort, and it goes down. So 2 forts down for Chromium. But meanwhile, oh, there's the Brightwing. I was going to say Rhaegar doing well to hold his own, but now he's against 2. There's the polymorph. The last rites connects, and he goes down. Just, oh, there goes Sylvanas on the other side. Here's the cocoon. And Junkrat may be in trouble. Yes, definitely in trouble. I just want to check the recap. Last rites did 131 overkill. So, only about 1,000 damage. It was right on the edge. So well timed there. Big stun from Anub on the bush checking, but the Emerald Wind from the Brightwing does push the team back, and reinforcements have arrived. Combo onto Genji, does get the parry, but stuns interrupt that, and Genji goes down. And ReGen Rebel will take their camp off of that. They do give up 6% on the beacon, but Brightwing gets to the point. Mind Control comes out. Doesn't find anything, just going fishing. And the beacon now being channeled by ReGen Rebel. Chromium, Genji has to respond. Just looking like they're trying to decide where they want to focus their pressure. Malthael chasing in, giving Genji time to capture the point. But Genji doing that reveals his position, and ReGen knows that they have a 4 versus 3 in the bot lane with a talent advantage. Mind Control comes out again, doesn't connect, but there's the overpower onto the Vala. The Unstoppable is there, and she vaults to safety. Ancestral Healing does a ton onto the Anubarak, but the damage is just coming in. The black arrows, the Junkrat bombs, everything. Cocoon onto the tank, but the Riptire just pushes their team away. They can't follow that. Taco does Shadow Charge through the gate. Mind Control connects onto the Anub, but he just shields and walks away. And the gate goes down and Diablo walks out. I was going to say we don't see an APOC combo because Zavala died, but there was an Anub there and he APOC comboed the Anub instead, so it's a bit of a rotational L-shaped combo. Supermat, very deep, no way out, no escape. And this bottom keep just being murderized by those black arrows. Sylvanas definitely getting in a lot of value on this game. And ReGen Rebel just not letting up, not giving an inch. Rexar does recap the point at 96%, does delay the Zerg wave from coming in. It will come in through bottom, right onto core. So, in the meantime, ReGen is going to steal a camp. Those Junkrat traps just being in the way constantly. Polymorph follow-up, mind control follow-up. Anubarak just had no time to play his character. I believe we saw the silence. Yeah. So he was silenced, booped, mind controlled, stunned, polymorphed. And just from the time that trap hit, he had no control. Super, super annoying. And here come the Zerg in the bottom lane. The camp's cleared out top, but I think Rexar does have to come down for the defense on this point. Because this is a big wave with a 5-man push, which I assume it's going to be a 5-man push. Diablo is a bit behind. Genji getting some deflect. Mind control from the very forward, Sylvanas, and the boop from Junkrat does kill off the Rhaegar. They have been practicing these combos because that was clean. Taco does get a perfect APOC combo. The noob peels can't connect with everyone, so it doesn't connect with Sylvanas in the back. Last Rites does connect with the noob. And just the Zerg on the core. That is going to be game number 2. Going over to ReGen Rebel. I just want to... Oh, it's too late. I wanted to check the recap to see how much the last Rites did on the noob Barak. But that won't be the case. As we go take a look at the stats. Brightwing doing a lot of that healing, those phase shifts coming in the off lane, getting those ganks. Malthael proving effective in the off lane. Rexar did get a lot of the camp captures, but with the right wing phase shifts, just 2v1, was having a hard time. So I am going to see about an interview. If I go here and I message someone, we'll see if we can get someone in here. Briefly switching over to the talent view.
Oh, couldn't even lose her. She was ready.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Ted. She's sitting there talking to the team. I'm like, oh, this is my chance to escape.
He tried to do an interview without me. I am here with his leash.
Well, we wouldn't want that to happen. So how are you feeling after those 2 matches, two games?
Always feel good after playing with our team.
That's a very diplomatic answer.
I'm glad we're having a strong start with the team.
Well, I mean, last season we lost like the first 10 games or so.
Yeah, I looked at the standings. You have quite a few points this season, so GG.
But as I keep trying to tell, well, sort of, modified version. Anyway, it's not the points at the beginning of the season, it's the points at the end of the season that matter. And so we're just trying to keep it strong, keep it riding. They're saying in chat that they're having a hard time hearing us.
Yeah, I see it. Hang on. I have it turned up as far as I can, so I don't know.
I'll be louder. Just, you know, it always feels good getting a win in NGS with the team, and I'm just really excited to see new teams coming into NGS. Our past couple weeks have been against teams that this is their first season, and I can't emphasize enough how much I want to encourage them in the season, and to the difference from coming from playing the game casually, playing the game stormly, quick match, whatever, and coming into while amateur, still competitive play is a really it's sometimes a hard transition, and so even when so we have new teams with some more experienced teams, and I want so much for those of us that are experienced to keep encouraging new teams like 07 Chromium. Absolute pleasure to play with, very friendly people from the interactions I've had with them so far, and couldn't be more excited to have them in Nexus Gaming Series with us.
Right. Although you say you want to encourage them, but you didn't give them any opportunity. Like, you didn't give them an inch. You took the Johanna.
They
you,
killed me game 1.
Well,
You,
here's the thing. ReGen Rebel is kind of known for our throws, and we've worked for 3 seasons to stop throwing the game. So, you know.
every opportunity, specifically in that last game, if they rotated, you went in with your block arrows. You took everything you possibly could.
Absolutely. So encouraging them does not mean going easy during competition.
Fair enough.
I would find that to be disrespectful if we said, you know, this is a new team and we're not going to give them the credit that they deserve, so we're going to go easy. We're not going to make good plays because they're a new team. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to them.
Insulting,
And if anything,
really.
yeah, if a team did that to us, that wouldn't encourage me to stay.
I was giving you an underhanded compliment on your macro plays, but
Well, you know what, Tim?
Thanks.
I'm kind of dumb and I don't understand those.
it's
Well,
okay.
I have to say our team's comms are pretty good at this point in our team's career. So
Yeah, I was commenting on your combos. Like, the APOC combos were good, but more so it was the Junkrat follow-ups to the other things that you were doing were perfect. Everything seemed very coordinated between your characters.
yeah, it's all about the comms.
I do want to ask, how do you feel about that boss that went your way?
That came at us. We were
Yeah.
very I actually really like that play from them because I don't know what it was that was going on, or I assume we're talking about Braxis.
Yeah.
That they had occupied 2 of us top, they had 2 of us or 3 of us occupied bottom, and I guess on 1 hero each. I think Genji had a big play. When I watched the replay, I'll know, right? But I imagine Genji had a lot to do with that boss play, going so sneakily, and I was surprised, and I don't think all of us realized at the same time that a boss was walking at us. So it was a really good play. It was a great opportunity to get some more ground in the game. And
So-
Yeah, that boss call was really good.
So what happened-
Hilarious.
It threw us for a loop.
What happened was, it was after the first objective was cleared up. You had already taken your camp, and they took theirs. And so you guys had a couple people top dealing with camp, and a few people bottom pushing against Rexar. And a bunch of them were missing. And I have vision of everything. I didn't even see it coming, because I'm like, no one take a block at this point. And then the boss just walks up onto my screen. Like, oh, there it is.
What?
Minutes, boss? We were like,
Yeah.
what?
It was good. We didn't expect it. They got it uncontested. No threat to them taking the boss. Yeah, we were trying to get some push bottom, but Rexar was keeping us occupied. So I feel like it was a pretty zero risk boss. It was a really good play.
And yeah,
Yeah, we were
it
pretty
must have been the Genji, for sure. But yeah, I didn't actually see it, so I'm sorry about that.
It's okay, I have the replay file.
It's at 6 minutes.
Speaking of which, thanks, honey.
You're welcome.
Speaking of which, I should start submitting the replay files.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea. Well, yeah, I don't have any other questions about your play, so if you have any more shout-outs or whatever you want to say.
I would like to make a shout out to the most beautiful team in NGS.
My
Who's
team
that?
didn't play tonight.
ReGen Rebel. Yep.
Is that it, honey?
Well, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to my husband.
Who's that?
That's you.
Oh, thank you.
No shout-outs to your boyfriend, though?
You're getting. Shout out to my boyfriend. Thank you. For being such a good tank and not eating in when you play a new brack.
Okay. Well, obviously, big shout out to my wife for keeping me alive, both in the game and in real life. She makes the most amazing lunches for when I'm on shift work. And to obviously the rest of Rebel and the ReGen org as a whole, Murdad, who heads up ReGen. Couldn't ask for a better organizer and founder. And our coach Silver Arrow, Milord Silverado, Thank you for teaching me to hit my skills instead of missing. You know, I never would have realized it was better if I hit them. And Tin, thank you so much for casting.
Well, my pleasure. So thanks for
Yes.
playing.
Thanks for casting tonight. Can't wait to watch the replay.
And that'll be it for me. So good night, everybody. Thanks for coming out, and
Good night.
good luck in the future.
Good night, Tin. Thank you so much.